With us now from Capitol Hill, from the very same camera that we just saw Lauren Fox, so I'm hoping he has wired up now, is Congressman Seth Magaziner, who is on the Homeland Security Committee of Congress. He is from Rhode Island, a Democrat, and the ranking member of the subcommittee in that larger committee that deals with intelligence issues, which we'll get to in just a moment. And there we are with the congressman fully wired up. It is great to see you, and hoping you can hear me, Congressman. The president said that the House War Powers vote was a meaningless vote. 4 Republicans crossed party lines to join Democrats trying to restrict the president's powers in Iran. He called that a meaningless vote. What's your response to that?
Well, tell the American people who are paying $4 or $5 a gallon for gas because of this unnecessary war that the war powers vote was meaningless. Tell the American taxpayers who are spending $1 billion a day on this unnecessary war, instead of spending that money, using that money to lower the cost of health care or rebuild our schools or roads or bridges, tell them that it's meaningless. And tell the American service members whose lives are at risk right now for no good reason that it's meaningless. The fact of the matter is that the vast majority of the American people oppose this war, do not think that it is necessary, do not think that it is good policy. And today, or yesterday, the People's House, representing the American people in a majority vote, also expressed our belief that this war needs to end. Look, under the Constitution, it is Congress, not the executive branch, that has the authority to determine whether and when we go to war. And so the House finally was able to do the right thing yesterday and reclaim our constitutional prerogative in this matter. The Senate now needs to do the same.
As I mentioned, you are on the House Homeland Security Committee. You are the ranking member of a subcommittee that deals with intelligence issues. The president has named Bill Pulte, sort of who runs housing for him, to be the acting director of national intelligence. What's your view of that selection, and what does it tell you about how the president views the intelligence establishment?
Well, the American people are less safe with Bill Pulte as the director of national intelligence. He is someone who has no experience at all in intelligence or in foreign affairs or in the military. Zero experience, none. And the only reason he was chosen is because he has shown a willingness in his current role at the Federal Housing Authority. He has shown a willingness to use the levers of government to attack the president's political opponents. That's the only reason he was chosen. And so the fact that he is now being put in charge of our nation's intelligence gathering is chilling. And it's just the latest example that in this Trump administration, the president is staffing up not with public servants, but with political gangsters, with people who only have the qualification of being willing to use the government against the president's political enemies in a violation of constitutional rights in many cases.
Congressman, I want to ask you a little bit about the future of the Democratic Party. My co-anchor Kate Baldwin just had a conversation with another Seth in Congress, Seth Moulton from Massachusetts, who we should note is running for Senate, primarying a senior Republican in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, just to your north. I want to play what Congressman Moulton said about the need really to change within the Democratic Party. Listen.
I think there comes a time to pass the torch to the next generation. And what better time than when the Democratic establishment is just not getting it done? I mean, if you honestly are a Democrat today who says, you know, Democrats are knocking it out of the park, you know, we're winning all across the board, we shouldn't change a thing, then vote for the establishment, vote for Chuck Schumer, vote for the status quo. But if you think we should be doing better, if you think it's time for a new generation of Democratic leaders, if you think it's time for us to take the lead on the economy, to show that we are the party of national security, to show that we are the party that will fight Trump and MAGA Republicans every single day and win, then it's time for a new generation of Democrats, and that's why I'm running for Senate.
His basic idea, Congressman, his suggestion that the Democratic establishment is just not getting it done. What's your view of that?
Well, my view is that we need Democrats who are willing to shake things up to make life better for the American people. The reason that the American people are struggling with high costs and a lousy economy is that we have a system in Washington that is corrupt. That is certainly evident in the White House, where Donald Trump's administration is the most corrupt in American history. But we've also had things like stock trading by members of Congress that members of both parties have been guilty of engaging in. And I'm the lead sponsor of a bill to ban stock trading in Congress and in the Oval Office. So listen, to me, it's not about young or old or new. It's about who's willing to shake things up and really fight for the American people who are struggling right now. And, you know, the voters will have to make the determination in individual races of who the best fighters for their interest are. I will say on the House side, we've had a shakeup in leadership. You know, Speaker Pelosi stepped aside along with Leader Hoyer a couple of years ago, and we've got new leadership in Hakeem Jeffries and Catherine Clark that I think have shown a willingness to fight. And I think Hakeem next year after November will be a great speaker. But, you know, I don't want to speak for Congressman Moulton, but I think what the American people want is fighters for them, not for the status quo. And whatever age you are, whatever length of tenure you have, if you are a fighter for the American people, that's great. If not, then get out of the way.
Congressman Seth Magaziner from Rhode Island, we appreciate your time this morning.